My sister did not whisper it. She said it loudly and confidently in front of everyone. You wouldn't survive a week without us. The words landed harder than she intended. If this story has touched your heart, don't just scroll, subscribe, and be part of this journey. Red Heart. We were in the main conference room of our family business. The long glass table, the framed awards, the oversized photo of my father shaking hands with investors. A legacy on display. I had just told them that I was leaving. Not dramatically, not emotionally, just leave. I want to build something myself, I said calmly. Dad leaned back in his chair with his fingers spread apart. You already have something, he replied. Here. My sister laughed softly. He does not want responsibility. He wants attention. This stung more than it should have. For 10 years I had been working in this building to quietly fix operational leaks, renegotiate supplier contracts, automate systems that you didn't even know were broken. Margins improved, lead times decreased, profits increased, but the earnings went to the leadership. What did my father, and lately my sister, mean? She had the charisma, the speeches, the sophisticated updates in meetings. I had spreadsheets and strategies. Invisible work seems to be replaceable. Dad's voice penetrated my thoughts. You're emotional right now. Take a few days off. I'm not emotional, I said evenly. I'm prepared. My sister bent forward with sharp eyes. Prepared for what? You have no capital. You have no support. You have no experience outside this building. I almost smiled because the biggest advantage of being underestimated is privacy. I have been building parallel systems for 3 years, advise quietly, acquire minority stakes in small logistics startups, build up a supplier network independent of us, learn, position myself. Without this company, she continued, gesticulating around the room, you are nothing. Silence followed, no shocked silence. Pleasant silence because a part of them believed it. Dad didn't defend me. That was not necessary. He thought the same thing. You will not survive a week, my sister repeated. I looked at the framed awards on the wall. Then pay for the profit reports in front of you, which only existed because I redesigned the distribution 2 years ago. They didn't even know what contracts were held together by my personal relationships. I got up, then I guess we'll figure it out. I said I left my access pass on the table. No shouting, no threats, just certainty. They thought I was moving away from power. You didn't notice that I was leaving with the blueprint, and if they really believed, I would not survive a week without them. They had no idea how much of their empire was standing silently on my shoulders. The first day without me felt normal for her. I know because I still had friends inside me. Meetings took place. My sister led them. Dad approved projections. Emails have been sent. The trust remained intact. On the second day, small cracks appeared. An extension of the supplier contract has stalled. It wasn't dramatic, just delayed. They assumed it was routine. What they didn't know was that the supplier was not faithful to the logo on the building. They were loyal to me. For years I had been negotiating personally, building trust, structured pricing models that benefited both sides. When I left, these also went in formal assurances. On the third day, 2 more suppliers stopped deliveries, citing verification processes. Inside, my sister became irritable. She plays games, she said. Dad, I just didn't smooth out the friction anymore. There is a difference between sabotage and absence. Absence is powerful. Meanwhile, I did not sit still. The minority interests that I had quietly acquired in smaller logistics companies. I consolidated them, merged networks, unified warehousing, better margins, cleaner technical integration. Because, unlike my family business, I had built everything from scratch in a modern way. No legacy, no outdated management levels, just efficiency. On the 4th day, customers began to ask questions. Delivery deadlines slipped. Customer service struggled because the automated routing system I built required maintenance work that no one fully understood. I had trained them, but they had never listened. They assumed that systems run by themselves. They don't do it. People do it. My sister called me that evening. I let it ring twice before answering. What have you done? She demanded. Nothing, I said calmly. I left. Suppliers freeze contracts. They check the risk exposure. To what? About instability. She became silent because she knew what instability looked like. It looked like sudden changes in leadership, internal friction, public rumors. On the 5th day, I made my move. I have sent formal partnership offers to 3 of your biggest clients. Not aggressive, strategic, better prices, faster processing, transparent analysis dashboards. No emotional pitch, just performance. 2 agreed exploratory talks within a few hours, not because they did not like my family, but because the business follows reliability. On the 6th day, Dad called. His voice carried something that I had not heard before: concern. "You're aiming at us," he said. "No," I replied. "I'm competing. This company built you. I helped build this company." I gently corrected silence. He knew that this was true. The internal reporting metrics I have designed are still running. The workflow for warehouse automation is still mine. The predictive shipping model, my algorithm. They always thought I was an employee. They never realized that I am infrastructure. Day 7 came exactly 1 week. My sister said I wouldn't last. Instead, my new company has won 2 major customers, signed 3 supplier contracts, and brought on board a technology investor who valued scalable systems over legacy pride. Their stock fell by 11%. Not catastrophic, but noticeable. Industry blocks also noticed it. Emerging competitors are challenging established logistics leaders. They didn't name me publicly, but everyone in the industry knew it. That evening I received a last message from my sister. "You're breaking up this family." I stared at it for a long moment. Then I replied, "No, I proved that I have never been dependent on it. I didn't burn down their empire with fire. I removed the silent beams that held it. There is a difference between destruction and revelation. And if something breaks down because a person is walking, it was never stable at first." 3 months later, the headlines stopped calling it a temporary setback. They called it restructuring. Board members entered, investors demanded explanations. My sister's confident presentations became defensive. My dad had to answer questions for the first time instead of asking them. I was watching from a distance, not celebrating, not gloating, just observing the natural consequence of overconfidence. One evening, Dad asked for a meeting, not at the office, in a quiet cafe. He looked older than I remembered. "We thought you needed us," he admitted. "We didn't know how much we relied on you." There she was, the truth that no one wanted to tell. My sister came to us later. No sharp tone, no superiority. "You didn't burn anything down," she said quietly. "You just stepped away." I nodded. Empires don't fall because someone leaves. You will fall if you ignore who is stopping you. I didn't want revenge. I told them that I wanted independence. Dad exhaled slowly. "And now?" "Now," I said calmly, "we are competing or we are working together. But we do not underestimate. For the first time, there was no challenge in my sister's eyes, only respect. And sometimes this is the real empire. M